Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I have your very first gameplay and overview straight from the Tusk Force dev server for the Stingray. This is a currently rank 6 battle rating 9.3 light tank in both the Japanese ground forces tech tree, as you can see here it is in the Thai sub-tech tree, because of course the Thai army is the one that actually imported this, and also in the US ground tech tree between the M3 Bradley and the M3A3, being that of course the US created it. Specifically, it was Cadillac Gage, later Textron. They were the ones who made this, and Thailand is the only company that actually, or the only country rather, that actually imported it. Now, I will be using this one in the match, even though they are the exact same vehicle. I just like this camo more. This is unique camo to the Thai version of it, so may as well get that. But otherwise, again, this thing is identical to the US Ground Forces Tech Tree one, and actually has pretty good modifications. Now, as of right now, bear in mind, everything in the tech tree is subject to change up to and even beyond the release of the major update, but as of current, this only has night vision. Even though you don't see night vision here, I did test it. It does have night vision. However, it lacks thermals, which at 9.3 BR is mostly forgivable, but that is something that you might want. But otherwise, it has around a 25 to 1 horsepower per ton power to weight ratio, a very nice max speed of 67 kilometers per hour, mediocre-ish 14 kilometer per hour reverse speed, and pretty mediocre armor otherwise. But it does have a nice 6.7 second reload if you're fully aced. If you are just totally new to this tank, you have no crew experience whatsoever, you're looking at about an 8.71 second reload. Otherwise, turret guidance is okay. The vertical guidance, negative 7.5 degrees of cannon depression, or up to 20 degrees of cannon elevation, the latter of which is actually pretty good, and turret rotation of 30 degrees per second, which is pretty good, especially for a light tank around this BR. You're not quite at the 40 degree per second mark yet. You start seeing that above 10.0 BR. So this is a pretty decent vehicle, in my opinion, for the BR, and it of course does have a stabilizer. Now, otherwise for armament, you do have the DM33, which is actually quite nice, especially again for this BR, with 421 millimeters of armor pen at very most, or even the base level one, the C76A1, still not bad at all, especially for this BR. So as I said, let's get into a few matches, see how this thing does, but I'm really excited that this has come to War Thunder. It's a very, very cool little tank. It's kind of like the F-20 Tiger Shark of tanks, if you will. But that said, well, this at least got picked up in the export market. But that said, let's get into it. So here we are with the Stingray, and as you can see, just kind of leaving the base, it gets up to a decent amount of speed pretty decently. However, I would expect a vehicle with this much power to weight ratio to be just slightly quicker. Not really much, of course, but just enough where, I don't know, it should just feel different in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and just shoot this guy one more time if I can hit him. And we have someone else over there, it looks like. We're going to go ahead and just shoot him if I can help it. And we have a second kill. Now bear in mind, this is the dev server, and as I always say about the dev server, the problem with it is that it's pretty much all World War II vehicles being driven by bots. As you can see here, that's what we have, unfortunately. And, as I said before, this does not have thermals, which is kind of a problem. So we have, it's not like a major problem, of course, but this is the only zoom setting. Now, going to commanders, ooh, nice. Now, going to commander's sites, we only have this level of zoom as well, so it's nothing really all too impressive, unfortunately. But, I mean, the cannon seems to be pretty powerful. It's got good mobility. It's only got like 25-ish meters per second, or not meters per second. It's only got something like 25 millimeters of armor, which, as you could expect, really is not that good. We have ourselves a helicopter out there. I'm just going to hide here for a little bit. I do not feel like being killed by a helicopter. Again, people play the dev server not to use new tanks or vehicles in general, but they do it to, I don't know. I don't really know what the purpose is of a lot of people using the dev server, but they use it in strange ways. Now, this is kind of where that 7.5 degree per second, or not degree per second, but rather 7.5 degree turret depression, I mean, it's not the worst by any means, but it's also, at this BR, not really all that good, especially relative to other similar BR vehicles. Let's see if we can pull up, go up a little bit further here, and maybe I can snipe that helicopter with an APF SDS. But, I mean, thus far, I'm actually kind of impressed with this thing. Of course, you can't expect really anything insofar as its armor is concerned. I mean, this thing could probably be penned by the side from an HMG. But, other than that, it's not bad. So long as you keep being mobile with it, you should be okay. Okay, that works for me. Let's see if we can snippety snipe. Okay, we got ourselves the driver on that fella. Doesn't really matter all too much. Should be able to get this kill. No. So, holy guacamole, he actually was aiming at me. And it didn't do anything to me. But, yeah, I mean, thus far I'm actually kind of impressed by it. Again, we're facing World War II vehicles. Or, if it's an actual player, we are facing very, very high BR vehicles that you typically would not be facing when using this. So it's kind of a weird mix in a way. But versus World War II vehicles is actually doing, as one could expect, quite well. In fact, I would say maybe even better than I was otherwise expecting. That sucks. Not that it matters. This is a pointless match. Like I said, people bringing in actual, like, their actual vehicles into these matches just doesn't make much sense to me. But that said, let's get into another match real quick. Kind of continue this, but I'm kind of impressed, but this is kind of what you expect from a light tank. So I kind of misspoke before when I said I don't know why people are bringing their own vehicles, like their premiums, to the dev server. Obviously, I know why. It's because they want to play the vehicles that I have access to as a content creator. And so, first and foremost, obviously, that was a kind of stupid thing for me to say. And I'm not saying this like, oh, this is a YouTuber apology. But I am saying this like, I thank you guys every single day that I hop in and play War Thunder, because without you guys, I don't have access to this stuff, right? Like, I logged into the dev server and immediately got every single vehicle that is currently on the dev server to play for free. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing, and I couldn't do it without you guys, you know? And even though, yes, I know my channel isn't really doing quite as well as it had been at one point, which is fine. The fact of the matter is, I still have the ability to do everything all the same as I used to, as I've always done. Ooh. Is he gonna see me? Ooh, we have ourselves a kill from both of us. Very nice. I'm just going to go ahead and respawn because you guys already know what this vehicle is about, but I'll just kind of finish this off in a second here. But as I was basically saying, you know, without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do all this. Now, that said, with the Stingray, this reminds me, if I haven't already said it, I think I may have in the previous match, this reminds me so much of the XM8, except without thermals, and I think with a better armament, if I'm not mistaken, being that this can fire the, what was that, DM-20 or 33 rather, with over 400 millimeters of armor pen. That's pretty good. I mean, this is a fairly up-tierable vehicle. Now, of course, without the thermals, it kind of makes it so that it's not as up-tierable as it otherwise would be, but I still feel like this is actually quite a good vehicle otherwise, and it does remind me kind of like an alternate version of the XM8 in terms of layout, in terms of armament for the most part, mobility. This is pretty much all of that. So, I think that might be a bot. Okay, yeah, it is. But, in general, I'm actually quite impressed with it. It's just kind of like your standard tank, your standard light tank. I mean, what are you going to do with it, right? Like, this is just basically light armor, fairly quick. I mean, at 9.3 BR, I'd say it is actually pretty quick. Pretty decent cannon. Again, 9.3 BR. You really can't go wrong with a 105mm cannon. The lack of thermals does suck, don't get me wrong. But, you know, otherwise, it's not bad. How am I missing these things? I sniped that guy in the beginning of the match, but I can't get any of these kills. But I do see a smoke trail. And somehow don't get the kill there either. But we do have an enemy up there, so I'm going to go ahead and just scout him out. We got the kill. And I feel like actually that's something that this vehicle is going to be exceedingly good at. as one could imagine. And you also do, of course, have the Scout UAV on it. But this is going to be an excellent scouting vehicle. It's very quick. You know, it's got, again, a good power-to-weight ratio. It's just got more or less everything that you need in order for it to be a good scout. And again, the American and the Japanese, or rather the Thai versions, they're the same. So having this in-game, it just adds a really nice other option. And like I said, if you missed out on the XM8 before, this is kind of like that. At least that's how I feel. Now, you're going to have a lot of people, oh, how dare you tank it, son? Like, yeah, I get it. It's not the same vehicle, and there are some big differences. Again, thermals being one of them. But otherwise, it plays and feels, to me at least, fairly similar. Which is good, because that's just a good, generic, in a way, light tank. And you can't go wrong with something like that. You know, it doesn't have, for example, like you have the BMD4, for example, that has... Okay, where is that being fired from? I wonder. I can't see it. But you have the BMD4 that has an autocannon, or you have the, like, so many other vehicles that are similar to that, that just have these very light armaments. This is powerful enough to be able to scout and snipe, whereas those, not so much. And this, I don't know, to me that just gives so many awesome options that you wouldn't have otherwise, you know, because around this BR you are starting to see a lot of autocannon-based light tanks. And so this gives you an option to, instead of doing that, you can now flank and snipe, which is just incredibly powerful, especially with, again, the DM33. So, with that said, I think this match is probably mostly over. There's not really all too much more that we can do here, unfortunately. I'm just going to go ahead and shoot this guy if I can help it. I know if there's a guy coming up right here. Go ahead and take this guy out, again, if I can help it. The cannon is quite accurate. The LRF cannon, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, the LRF cannon. Quite accurate. So, this also plays very much like the VFM. And I think it's actually very similar to the VFM in many ways as well. Insofar as this armament is concerned. I mean, this can use HESH, for example. Which is very interesting for a light tank. Typically, that's only something that you see on British tanks. Ooh, look at that. I was having trouble with aiming before, but no longer. But, I mean, the reload time as well. It's actually quite good. Not great, of course, but it's good enough where I don't really feel like I'm going to be running into any tremendous issues, especially if you're using this thing as a flanker rather than a brawler or something, which obviously this is not suited for. Oh my goodness. I just delivered that person a bad day. But that said, I think this match is pretty much over. There's not so much else that I can do here. I mean, you've seen the capabilities, and being that the dev server is as limited as it is, unfortunately, you know, I'm just fighting at this point a lot of World War II tanks, which is cool in some ways because it makes me feel all powerful and whatnot, but, I mean, that does nothing for anyone, you know, except kind of boost an ego, and that's even barely. So, I've gotten 10 kills. Not bad, I guess. One versus an actual player, and I think everything else versus World War II vehicles. And even before, interwar vehicles. So, that said, thanks for watching. If you don't mind, please consider subscribing to my channel, liking this video. I do appreciate every single time that you guys do that. It does mean the absolute world to me. Okay, ooh. Oh, no! The smoke trails, too. That's what's... Come on, can I? Oh, no, no, no! I'm trying to pull up here. Okay, we got a tire. We also have a Nashorn. I think that might actually be an enemy player. Yes, it is. Can we get a kill? We can! Look at that! Right when I was about to leave, I actually get 2 player kills. Not bad. Even though, of course, one of them is only whatchamacallit. But either way, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone. I like this thing.